Divine manifestation revealed, become the observer for 3 miraculous answers to prayer, in the quaint village of Hopewell, where the cobblestones shimmered like jewels and the ancient church stood as a beacon of hope, something unimaginable was about to unfold. The air trembled with a divine presence as faith collided with reason. The townsfolk might have thought it folly, yet divine manifestations were poised to be revealed 3 miraculous answers to prayer. Martha, a devoted single mother with a heart full of worries, clutched her rosary as she traversed the worn path to the church. Her son, David, gripped in the clutches of a rare illness, left her trembling with tears. As she entered the chapel and knelt on the cool stone, a hush fell. It felt as if heaven itself was listening. Candlelight flickered, casting shadows that whispered promises of miracles. Suddenly, it happened. A soft glow emanated from the altar, transforming the ordinary into extraordinary. In that light, Martha saw not just hope, but transformative healing roll through the chapel. One by one, 3 villagers stepped forward. Agnes, once bound by a life of pain, now stood tall, tears of joy streaming down her face. Samuel, who had lost his sight, blinked as clarity returned. The final miracle, Bertie, who had been mute since childhood, spoke words of prayer that stirred every heart present. Amazing! It was a night of divine awe that would echo through Hopewell for generations, but before we continue, I need to tell you about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, click the bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can leave a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, tell me in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. The atmosphere pulsed with spiritual energy, and Martha, her heart racing, blinked back tears. She felt a current run through her, a stirring of the Holy Spirit awakening within her. Her faith felt alive, buzzing with the promise of what might come next. Just as her spirit began to soar, she caught a glimpse of John, her neighbor, lurking at the back. Clutching his journal, he watched with an expression of skeptical awe. Was it disbelief or faith beginning to germinate in his heart? With renewed determination, Martha hurried to him, buoyed by hope. "Did you see?" she uttered, breathlessly. "Miracles right here." As she recounted the extraordinary healings, a storm of thoughts swirled in her mind, raising doubt beneath her elation. Questions gripped her heart. Were the healings truly miracles? Or was it the collective faith that sparked something deeper? Maybe the miracles weren't just for her, but for everyone, an invitation to embrace a higher understanding. As the night deepened, the lonely candle flames flickered like stars caught in the hearts of villagers. Martha felt that very urgency of the divine pulse around her, a hint that the greatest miracle yet was yet to come. Just as she dared to imagine health returning to her son, the air thickened with unanswered questions, leaving her mind spinning toward the promise of what lay ahead. Hope, faith, and a tangle of uncertainty intertwined, setting the stage for the ultimate test of her beliefs. Would she find the miracle she desperately sought? Only time would tell. Martha stood before John, her heart racing as excitement and uncertainty collided within her. She wanted to shake his disbelief, to wrap him in the warmth of the miraculous light that had enveloped the chapel. "You need to believe, John. Just look around." She gestured to the villagers, whose faces glowed in the flickering candlelight, awe painted across their features. Each one bore a witness to the glory they had just witnessed, but John remained rooted in skepticism. "Martha, this could be a trick of the mind, a collective high from the moment. We need to tread carefully." His voice was gentle, yet insistent, reflecting a truth he held fiercely. Miracles don't just drop from the sky. Feeling a rush of frustration, Martha stepped closer. "But they can. Can't you feel it? It's not just the healings, it's the spirit here." Her voice wavered, fueled by emotion. The atmosphere crackled like electricity around them, wrapping them in divine possibility. Just then, Agnes approached, joy spilling from her as sunlight spills through a window. "Oh, John! Can't you see? How could we all be experiencing the same trick of the mind? We've witnessed the hand of God tonight. Her joy resonated through the chapel, instantly shifting the conversation. Samuel joined them, grinning from ear to ear, his sight restored a beacon of renewed hope. Believe, John. Samuel urged, his eyes bright with clarity. How can we deny what has happened? God is moving here. Why not join us in this miracle? Martha watched as John wrestled with their words. His jaw clenched and then relaxed. She felt compassion for him. Doubt is a heavy burden to carry, one that had often knotted her own heart. Yet the love for her son drove her forward. John, please. My son needs a miracle more than anything right now. If we can believe together, imagine what that could do. With hesitation, John responded. I don't want you to be disappointed. His brow furrowed as he took in the radiance of joy surrounding him. But I'll take your faith seriously, Martha. Perhaps there's more to this than I can see. Filled with newfound determination, Martha decided to gather the villagers once more. Everyone, join me in prayer. She called, her voice rising like a song through the crowd. The people turned towards her, faces alight with anticipation, the air thick with hope. As they joined hands, Martha's heart pounded fiercely, each heartbeat a reminder of her own vulnerability and the weight of her asking. Heavenly Father, she breathed, we come together full of hope for the next miracle. I pray for David. Her voice caught, a hitch of emotion trembling the words. Heal him, Lord. We believe in the light of your power. The room grew still. Even the flickering flames seemed to hush, holding their breath as if the very air were waiting for the divine response. Then, a gentle warmth enveloped the village. It radiated from the altar, a soft glow that curled itself around each hand clasped tightly. Murmurs rippled through the congregation as they felt the touch of something sacred resonating deep within their spirits. Martha lifted her eyes, searching for a sign, a strengthening whisper. She could sense it deep in her bones that something was shifting, something monumental on the verge of being revealed. In that profound moment of connection and anticipation, her heart raced with hope and fear intertwined. What might come next? Would they witness the ultimate miracle that the village so desperately sought? As she held on to the hands of her neighbors, questions swirled. The air thick with expectation, the door to the next revelation was swinging open. What awaited them beyond that threshold? Only faith could unveil the answer. As the warmth enveloped them, a hush fell over the chapel. Eyes closed, hearts open, the villagers held on tightly, tethered to a collective longing that surged like waves against the shore. Martha's voice wavered into the stillness, a plea rippling through the room, rising higher with each breath. A moment passed, and then, like a soft whisper, the atmosphere shifted. A light brighter than the candles flickered overhead, illuminating the space with an unearthly glow. It flowed through the cracks in the walls, embracing them. Gasps of wonder traveled through the crowd, a chorus of astonishment merging with their prayers. Martha, do you see? Agnes exclaimed, her voice quivering with awe. Yes. It is happening. Martha could hardly speak, her heart soared as she clung to the hands of her neighbors, their faith creating a tapestry of hope. The sensation grew stronger, a pulse like a heartbeat joining them all. John might have been skeptical still, but even he felt a stirring within him, a flicker of possibility igniting in the deep recesses of his soul. It was the kind of warmth that made doubt wither and retreat. What is this? His voice barely above a whisper, catching the wonder in the air. Martha turned to him, her eyes shimmering with belief. It's the power of faith, John. We are not alone in this. As if in answer to their united call, a sound broke through the echoes of their prayers. A low hum, vibrating with energy, arose from the altar, a divine resonance that filled every corner of the chapel. The long-familiar weight of despair began to lift. Murmurs transformed into song, as spontaneous voices broke out in praise, a harmony born from hearts bursting with gratitude and hope. Suddenly, the light intensified, and figures began to appear, almost like silhouettes dancing in the golden hue. They moved gracefully, riding upon the waves of their faith, weaving through the congregation like the gentle caress of a breeze. Some faces were familiar, others shone with an angelic glow. The murmurs grew louder until they formed an incandescent prayer of their own. Martha squinted, entranced by the happenings before her. "Can you see? It's happening!" she exclaimed. There was no denying the unmistakable presence of something holy amongst them. Like a ripple in a pond, the warmth spread, igniting a shared knowledge among everyone present. One by one, villagers began to rise, emboldened by the palpable faith that had gripped their hearts. Samuel shouted, "I can see. Look! My vision, it's clearer than ever." And with that, a wave of hope surged through the chapel. Mothers clasped their children, younger ones clung to the old, and those who had once doubted raised their eyes to the light. An overwhelming sense of united purpose enveloped them. This was not simply an evening of prayers, it was a gathering of spirits willing to reach beyond their fears. A realization dawned upon the community: what they sought was more than a miracle, it was a reaffirmation of their faith. But just as joy began to settle in, a hush rippled through the crowd. Martha glanced towards the altar, the figures shimmering before them now pulsing in rhythm with their collective heartbeat. "Will we receive 3 answers?" Agnes's voice broke the silence, her eyes filled with both hope and anxiety. 3 miracles for 3 prayers? In that charged atmosphere, anticipation thickened. Martha closed her eyes, surrendering fully to the divine unfolding before her. "God, we seek the answers, we trust in you." The light pulsed again, a promise wrapped in mystery. What answers would be revealed? What miracles awaited this united family of faith? Only a moment in time held the key, and all they needed was to open their hearts just a little wider. With bated breath, they awaited the unveiling, the understanding that would maneuver their lives towards something far greater than themselves. What would the next chapter hold for them in this divine plan? Only the unfolding light could reveal the truth. The air was thick with anticipation, a holy expectancy that wrapped around each villager like a comforting shawl. As they stood gripped by the moment, the flickering light from above cast shadows that danced gracefully against the stone walls, illuminating whispers of their hearts. Martha, still trembling with joy, opened her eyes as she scanned the chapel, searching for reassurance, a confirmation that they were right to believe. "Look over there!" Samuel shouted, pointing toward the altar. Something majestic was unfolding. The figures shimmering in the light began to take form, no longer just fleeting outlines. They were distinct, brazenly radiant, garments flowing like liquid light, and their faces, if they could be called faces, glowed with a heavenly warmth. "Martha, can you hear them?" Agnes craned her neck, trying to catch every sacred word as it flowed from their lips, a sweet melody laced with messages of hope. Each syllable, uttered in an unfamiliar tongue, resonated within them, igniting a new fire in their spirits. "Yes," Martha whispered, nearly breathless, a response beat like a drum inside her. "They are speaking, we must listen." With each note that rose and fell, the congregation felt the heaviness of despair lift like morning mist chased away by the sun. What began as a murmur of prayers now transformed into a symphony, voices harmonizing together in a miraculous expression of faith. It was as if the heavens had opened, and every prayer, every heavy burden they carried, found its way into that divine chorus. "Are we really worthy of this?" John questioned himself softly, still absorbing the spectacle. Shadows of doubt lingered in his heart, but as he watched the unearthly glow wrap around the villagers, something in him began to shatter, much like the chains he had worn for so long. Martha turned to him, eyes alight with conviction. "We are all beloved children of God, John. Open your heart." As if in agreement, the light pulsing from the altar swelled and then flickered exquisitely, painting celestial patterns on their faces. Suddenly, a wave surged through the crowd as a figure stepped forward, more radiant than the rest, the Spirit's presence overwhelming in its beauty and warmth. "My beloved children," the voice echoed, not just in their ears, but deep within their very souls. "Your prayers have reached my ears. 3 answers await you, 3 blessings shaped by your collective faith. Gasps of disbelief mixed with utter reverence. Tears of joy began to stream down the faces of those who dared to hope. Samuel pressed his palms together, a gesture of prayer and gratitude, and all around, others mirrored him, hearts beating as one. Can we truly receive 3 miracles? Agnes leaned closer to Martha, her voice a fragile thread of wonder. Is that even possible? Anything is possible. Martha assured her, even as a soft tremor of fear curled at the edges of her excitement. Believe, the figure urged gently. Each of you holds the key to the miracles. It begins with the strength of your faith, your love for one another, and your willingness to embrace the unknown. In that moment, the room filled with a soft light, encasing them in a cocoon of divine presence. Each villager felt the weight of the world lift, grasping the truth that miracles were not merely gifts to be passively received, they were the culmination of faith, trust, and unity. But as quickly as the warmth surged, the figure began to fade, the glow dimming just slightly. An echo lingered in the air, causing the chapel to tremble softly. Prepare your hearts, for the answers are not what you expect. Be ready to act, for faith is a call to action. With every heart beating in unison, they were left in a haze of expectation, the divine promise hanging thick in the air. What did this mean for each of their prayers? What could lie ahead as the truth slowly unraveled before them? The villagers stood on the brink of a miraculous journey, bound together in hope, but only faith could guide their next steps. What revelations awaited as they navigated the path laid out for them? Only time would unveil the truth in this divine mystery. The chapel was pulsing, vibrant with energy. A feeling of unity washed over the villagers, each one feeling less alone in their struggles. Hope fluttered like a bird in their chests, wings poised for flight. As the last words of the heavenly figure faded, the air was thick with wonder and a tide of emotion swelled among them. Martha stepped forward, her feet moving almost as though guided by an unseen force. We must share our burdens, she declared, her voice resolute. Let us voice our prayers, our deepest desires. She could feel the echoes of her words settle over the group like soft rain, refreshing and invigorating. Samuel was the first to respond, his brow furrowed as he pondered deeply. I have prayed for healing for my sister, she has suffered too long. The weight of his words struck a chord in the hearts of those around him. They nodded solemnly, connecting through their shared plight, holding on to Samuel's prayer as if it were their own. Agnes stepped up next, her voice quivering but her spirit fierce. And I seek peace. There is strife in my home that distracts us from God's love. I long for reconciliation. As Agnes spoke, Martha reached for her hand, their fingers intertwining as a sign of solidarity. The room was alive with the collective heartbeat of the villagers, each word they uttered a thread woven into the fabric of faith. One by one, prayers burst forth, a lively tapestry of longing and need, a sanctuary of hope. I pray for guidance. John found his voice. I feel lost, trapped in my own doubts. Show me the way, Lord. The responses flowed like a river, earnest and eager. Little by little, they uncovered their deepest longings and fears. Each prayer hung in the air, illuminating the spaces between them, forging new connections and igniting passions long hidden. Suddenly, the lights flickered again, and a renewed presence enveloped the room. The villagers felt a stirring, growing stronger with every shared prayer. Each heart beat as one in an unyielding echo of truth and desire. Remember, the voice returned, clearer now, floating gently through the hallowed air. Your miracles will arise from your unity. You are the stewards of your own faith. Speak with intention, and let love guide you. Martha closed her eyes in reflection. What must we do? She whispered to herself. A longing bloomed in her heart, a call to action, a resonance that urged her onward. The figures around the altar brightened even more, urging them to look within. As their hearts spoke, light began to emerge from each villager, tiny sparks of hope illuminating the chapel. It was breathtaking and awe-inspiring, as faith transformed into living light. One villager, her voice imbued with revelation, spoke up. What if our miracles do not come in the way we expect? What if the answers we seek require us to change, to step into a new calling? Her words blossomed in the air, met with silence before understanding settled. The villagers exchanged glances, pondering the wisdom of her question. Nothing was promised without a price. Perhaps their transformations were the very miracles they sought. Martha caught John's eye, and they shared a knowing smile, no longer mere followers of hope but active participants in their destiny. Revitalized, they began to embrace the uncertainty that lies ahead. "Let our miracles be seen!" Martha shouted, enthusiasm surging through her. Eager excitement filled the chapel once more. "Yes!" The people responded, their voices harmonizing in agreement. In that moment, they felt a shift. They were not just waiting for blessings to rain down upon them. They were called to rise, to embrace the struggles and the changes to come, to cultivate that which they yearned for. As they knelt together, united in this sacred pact, an unseen curtain drew back, revealing just a sliver of what lay ahead. "Prepare your hearts, my beloved children," the voice resonated once more, echoing in their minds. "For your willingness to act may bring forth miracles that will surprise even your greatest expectations." What might these miracles look like? And what transformations awaited them on their journey to faith? Only their hearts could guide them through the mystery set before them. As the whispers of hope lingered in the air, a stillness enveloped the chapel. The villagers, their hearts alight with expectancy, held their breath as if waiting for the dawn to break after a long night. Martha stood at the forefront, inseparable from the others, her own anticipation mingling with theirs. "Take a moment," she urged, her voice soft yet powerful. "Let us quiet our minds and listen." They closed their eyes, inhaling together as one collective spirit, and let silence wash over them. In that sacred stillness, a warmth unfurled in the deepest parts of their beings, cocooning them in a gentle embrace. They could feel the stirrings, the divine energy at play, and then, like the gentle rustle of leaves in a summer breeze, a subtle prompting filled the space. A small, unassuming voice broke the silence of their shared reverence. "When I was a child, I was taught to trust." It was young Timothy, his innocence breaking through the weight of their worries. "What is it, Timothy?" Martha encouraged, her heart brimming with curiosity. He took a breath, finding the right words. "I used to pray to find lost things and they would show up. Maybe miracles are just that simple, a call for us to believe, to trust." His eyes sparkled with the glow of clarity, igniting something deep within the villagers. As Timothy's words sank into their hearts, a sense of clarity began to crystallize among them. Miracles were unfolding, yes, but they would often find their way to them through simple faith, sometimes even in ways they had yet to recognize. "Let us not shy away from the little things," Agnes added. "What if our miracles begin in small moments of kindness, understanding, and love?" Martha felt a ripple go through the group as they embraced this notion. Soft smiles broke across their faces, a glimmer of understanding lighting the way. They were beginning to see how intertwined their fates had become. Suddenly, a connection sparked in the air, brightening under the flicker of candlelight. "Our hearts are forming a tapestry," Samuel exclaimed, embracing the vision unfolding before them. "Every thread of faith, every prayer we've offered, weaves a beautiful pattern of hope." The villagers looked around, each one illuminated in the soft glow of understanding. Words of prayer were not simply echoes, they were threads of possibility woven into the world. It was a fabric rich with intent, a testament to their commitment. Looking out into the congregation, Martha felt her own heart flutter with trepidation. "But what if our sacrifices lead us toward a deeper place?" she murmured. "What if they push us beyond our comfort?" Each face reflected that familiar apprehension, a hesitant acknowledgement of the unknown path ahead. Yet there was also a recognition of the journey unfolding. With every prayer, every act of love, transformations were in motion. The voice reverberated again, more sonorous and compelling. "Beloved children, the breakthroughs you seek will not always resemble the blessings you imagine. However, through each act aligned with love, miracles shall illuminate the shadows that cloak your understanding." Your new calling awaits. A collective shiver coursed through the villagers, meeting the call from heaven with renewed vigor. John raised his hands, a spark of determination in his eyes. "Let us not lose sight of our purpose. Whatever challenges arise, we will answer with love. His fervor ignited the group, and they stood as one, hearts resonating in harmony. Each vow spoken in unison was another thread meticulously woven into the fabric of their faith. Martha felt herself sway, buoyed by their unity. We shall embrace every challenge. We shall become the makers of our own miracles. With newfound strength, the gathered villagers prepared to act. They were not only waiting anymore, they were set on a path of transformation, and so, with hearts ablaze and spirits resolute, they stepped forward into the unknown, aware that whatever lay ahead could shape their destiny in unimaginable ways. Are you ready to witness the miracles hidden in your own lives? The voice lingered, inviting them deeper into the mystery. For every step you take, remember that faith is the key, unlocking doors you never knew existed. What challenges would they face, and how might their faith lead them into the unexpected? The pathway remained shrouded in divine mystery, and ahead lay the promise of revelation. As the villagers moved forward, a sense of anticipation buzzed in the air. Each step felt weighty with significance, as if the very ground beneath their feet trembled with possibility. The candlelight cast flickering shadows, curling like whispers of prayers yet unheard, and Martha's heart quickened. Trust the journey, she reminded herself, but doubt crept in uninvited. What if their faith wavered in the face of trials yet unseen? She took a breath, feeling the warmth of the others, drawing strength from their resolve. They found themselves in a circle, uniting to form a body of faith that pulsed with life. It was then that a low, muted sound began to resonate. At first, it felt like the sound of distant thunder, but as it drew closer, they recognized it as the soft thrum of voices. Alex and a few others who had ventured out earlier to seek the truth beyond the chapel. Martha! Alex called, his voice breaking the reverent silence. We found something. His expression was a mix of excitement and trepidation. What is it? She replied, drawing closer. We have seen the fields where the old well lies. He hesitated, the air thickening with enthusiasm. Water flows there anew. We thought it dry, but now it runs clear. It's a miracle, a sign. Gasps erupted from the villagers, a surge of hope pouring into their hearts. They had long suffered under the weights of doubt and thirst, yet here was evidence, tangible proof that the divine could intercede even amidst despair. But as joy washed over them, a palpable tension remained. What if it's fleeting? Samuel whispered, the doubt lurking in the corners of his heart. What if the water runs dry again? Martha raised her hand for quiet. Miracles are not just about what we see, she asserted, her voice clear. They're the answers to the faith we've sowed, the seeds we've planted in our hearts. The blessings will come as we journey together. Timothy stepped forward, his youthful spirit glowing bright within the heaviness. Maybe this is our reminder. Each miracle is a step, a bridge leading us to even more. Then let us be the light. John added, his voice unwavering. Let us share this miracle, spread the news, and gather others. The energy shifted once more, igniting a fire inside every watcher. They shared stories of faith, tales of encouragement that sparked laughter and tears alike. The more they spoke, the more the burden of doubt seemed to dissolve, replaced by a chorus of belief and hope. Then, as if orchestrated from above, a bright light enveloped the altar, illuminating every corner of the chapel. They turned together, wide-eyed, as the warmth of a divine presence surged through them. Dear children, the voice echoed like a gentle breeze, you are on the cusp of discovery. The first miracle you have witnessed is merely the beginning. Embrace every moment, for in your hearts, divine answers will cultivate. Stand united, your faith is the seed that blossoms into joy. Tears streamed down faces as everyone felt the truth of those words resonate. What began with them would reach far and wide. What do we do next? Martha asked, her heart racing with excitement and fear entwined. Follow the breath of your faith, came the reply, soothing yet compelling. Gather those who thirst. Challenge the doubts, illuminate the darkness, and nurture the space around you. With renewed purpose, the villagers grasped hands, knowing that this was their call. They would take action, their hearts filled with undeniable strength, a community working as one. What awaits us beyond this miracle? Timothy asked, glancing around with childlike wonder. What does God want us to discover next? The air thickened with anticipation, and the promise of further revelation hovered like the morning mist. Would their journey lead to more miracles that would change their lives forever? With that question, they opened their hearts and minds, ready to receive whatever lessons the divine had in store. The path stretched before them, a beautiful tapestry of faith waiting to be woven. But as they stepped outside, the world felt alive, a new chapter ready to unfold. What greater wonders lie ahead, waiting for their faith to reveal them? As the villagers stepped into the open air, they were met with a breathtaking tapestry of stars. Each twinkling light seemed to pulse with energy, echoing the fervor in their hearts. The gentle breeze whispered secrets, enfolding them in its comforting embrace. They gathered under the vast night sky, realizing this moment was a bridge between the past and what lay ahead. "Look!" exclaimed Alex, pointing toward the shimmering horizon. "The dawn is just beginning to break." Indeed, the first light of morning flickered timidly at the edge of the world, painting the skies in shades of pink and gold. The villagers understood a new day had come, not just in time, but in spirit. This dawn was symbolic, a warm reminder of their collective hope. Martha inhaled deeply, feeling an unmistakable presence wave through her, a sensation of peace settling in, as a call to be bold surged through her spirit. "Today, we will share the good news," she stated, her voice stronger than she had ever felt. "Each of us carries the light of faith that can illuminate the shadows of doubt." Encouragement radiated from one to another, igniting smiles and murmurs of agreement. They were all in this together. The miracle of the well had sparked a flame, and now it was time to spread that light. "Let us visit those who have lost their way," Timothy suggested, his youthful enthusiasm infectious. "We can share what we've experienced. Maybe they'll see the water flowing through us." Samuel was hesitant, but a flicker of hope warmed him. "What if they don't believe us? What if they just see despair?" Martha took a step closer to him, her voice soothing yet invigorating. "A seed grows in the soil rich with faith and nurturing. Even if they doubt, we plant the seeds of hope in their hearts. Our actions will be the light that guides their way." As the first rays of sunlight touched the earth, casting a golden hue around them, an inexplicable sense of purpose surged within. They clasped hands, forming a circle of unity, filled with shared dreams and determination. One by one, they each shared a prayer, offering words of hope and strength into the universe. The prayers wove together like threads, creating an unbreakable fabric of faith that shielded them against the uncertainties that loomed ahead. "Today," John declared, his gaze fixed upon the horizon, "our mission begins. We will be messengers of this miracle, spreading joy and faith. We'll challenge the doubts, just as we encouraged each other." In that moment of resolve, they felt a divine surge of energy fill the space above them, like a gentle wave of love washing over their spirits. They were vessels of faith, chosen for this journey, blessed to share their miracles, but as they made their preparations, a stillness enveloped them. A distant echo rang through the air, a low hum that vibrated with both mystery and promise. Was it the voice they had heard before? Or perhaps a new revelation waiting just beyond their reach? Timothy's eyes widened in wonder. "What do you hear?" he questioned, glancing at each friend, searching for answers. "I don't know," Martha replied, her heart racing, "but I sense it's important. It feels like a beckoning, a call to deeper truths." With hearts open and questions lingering, they stepped forward, ready to meet whatever challenges lay ahead. The mysteries of faith shimmered brightly before them, waiting to reveal 3 miraculous answers to their seeking souls. What awaited them would test their belief and transform their lives forever. Would they be ready to embrace the unfolding journey? As the group moved toward the edge of the village, the hum deepened, resonating with their shared anticipation. Each footstep seemed to echo with purpose, the ground beneath them vibrating with the promise of what was to come. The sun continued to rise, spilling its golden light across the landscape, illuminating the path ahead. The villagers could feel the warmth touching their skin, energizing their spirits, as if an invisible hand was guiding them forward. But before they could step into the day's mission, Martha paused, feeling the stillness wrap around her like a warm blanket. "Wait," she whispered, holding her hands up. "Let us take a moment to listen." The others fell silent, their hearts thrumming in time with the pulse of the world around them. They could hear the sounds of nature, the chirping of birds, the rustle of leaves, but mixed within was that strange hum, the voice of the divine gently coaxing them to open their hearts wider. Samuel squinted toward the horizon where the sun kissed the earth. "It's strange," he began, "that we set out looking to share our light, yet I feel like there is something greater at play." Martha nodded, her heart swelling with the weight of unspoken wonder. "Yes, it's like we're being drawn toward something beyond ourselves." Suddenly, the hum crescendoed, shimmering through the air like a soft melody, wrapping around them. It felt inviting, calling them deeper into the territory of faith they hadn't yet explored. Timothy stepped closer to Martha, his youthful energy bursting forth. I think it's a call to draw strength from this mystery, to embrace it. What if we're meant to be part of something greater than our plans?" With renewed zeal, the villagers gathered closer, each face aglow with the possibility of the divine. "Let us pray once more," John suggested, his voice steady. "This time, let us ask for clarity. Let us seek understanding for where we need to go." As their heads bowed, their breaths synchronized in unity, they poured their hearts into the prayers. Each word held a longing, a desire to not only find what lay ahead but to be transformed by it. Martha's voice rose above the others, fervent and bold. "Lord, we are your vessels. Show us how to share your love. Reveal the truths that await us." With those words hanging in the air, something shifted. The breeze intensified, swirling around them, almost like a dance. Light flickered playfully in the branches of nearby trees, casting a radiant glow across their circle. They looked at one another, eyes wide with a mix of fear and excitement, and then, like a gentle sigh from the heavens, the hum transformed into clear whispers, weaving through the air. Each villager felt the words echo in their souls, resonating with a deep truth that was undeniably personal. Timothy gasped. "Did you hear that?" It spoke of miracles, of hope rising even in times of despair. A hush fell over them as realization washed over their hearts. It was true, they were called to be not merely vessels, but conduits of miracles, delivering the messages held within their souls to others, to uplift and renew. Martha's heart soared with the weight of this revelation. "We must move now. Time is fleeting and the world needs our light." As they stood, the hum began to fade, leaving behind a milky glow in its wake. The villagers could feel their resolve grow stronger, as if the air itself was charged with divine potential. They were ready to step into the unknown, but just as they began to walk, a sudden chill coursed through the air. A whisper of doubt crawled back into Samuel's heart. What if we face hardship? What if the ones we seek are not ready to embrace our light? Martha turned to him, her voice steady. Remember, our task is not to change hearts, but to share love. And even the faintest light can dispel the deepest darkness. Empowered by faith, they took their first step forward together. Still, an unshakable question lingered at the edge of their minds. Was this really the beginning of their journey or a call to something far more profound? As they crossed the threshold of the village, a bright ray of light pierced the horizon, illuminating the path before them. It beckoned them into the unknown, filled with unspoken challenges and divine encounters. What were the three miraculous answers destined to transform their lives? What awaited in the dawn of their journey? As dawn broke over Hopewell, a warm light bathed the villagers, knitting them closer together in anticipation of what was to come. Martha, now at the forefront of this divine calling, felt her heart thrill with a sense of purpose. The air was alive with possibility, each breath filling her lungs with renewed hope and courage. "Let us share our journey," she urged. "Every moment, every act of kindness, they are the miracles we carry within us." Her voice, steady yet passionate, resonated through the group. The villagers nodded, their hearts synchronizing in agreement. The fear that had once lingered in their minds began to dissipate like mist under the sun. They were not just seekers anymore, they were bearers of light, ambassadors of hope ready to embrace the world. As they walked toward the well, a radiant glow enveloped them. It felt as if the sun itself had chosen to shine just for them. Every step echoed with the silent promise of miracles yet to be unveiled. The distant hum, a gentle reminder of divine presence, wrapped around them like a comforting embrace. Suddenly, Martha paused, turning to the group with a fiery determination sparking in her eyes. We need to remember why we are here, not just for ourselves but for those still steeped in doubt. She captured everyone's attention, clarity and compassion mingling in her words. Timothy stepped forward, his youthful spirit igniting encouragement. Let us start by reaching out to those in our village who feel lost. They need to know that miracles are real, that faith has the power to transform lives. Martha smiled, her heart swelling with gratitude for the support that surrounded her. You're right, Timothy. We'll be the hands and feet of our miracles. As they approached the well, memories of despair washed over them. Many had thought this source of life had run dry, but it was here they would witness the profound truth of their faith. Just then, a figure emerged from the shadows, old Mr. Jenkins, who had long given up hope. What do you want? He asked with a tremor of skepticism. Just more disappointments. Martha stepped closer, her voice gentle yet unwavering. Mr. Jenkins, we've witnessed miracles. The well, it flows once more, and so can your spirit. Will you join us? His eyes flickered with fear and uncertainty, but something in her words ignited a spark. Miracles? He echoed, his heart yearning for hope after years of despair. Yes. Martha affirmed, throwing her arms open wide. Come see. Together, we'll witness the healing that faith brings. In that moment, a wave of warmth flowed through the gathered villagers. They could feel the essence of divine transformation, believing that as one heart broke open, others could follow. The atmosphere thickened, charged with the weight of their collective yearning. With cautious steps, Mr. Jenkins moved forward, their energy guiding him like the flickering light in a dark room. Maybe it's time, he whispered, tears brimming in his weary eyes. The group rallied around him, unity bursting forth as they knelt beside the well, hands joined in reverent prayer. Lord, let your miracles flow anew. Let them break through the doubts and fears that bind us. Martha led the prayer, her voice strong and unwavering. As they prayed, the water bubbled forth, clearer than ever before, sparkling under the morning sun. Gasps of wonder rippled through the crowd, filling their hearts with awe. Look! Agnes exclaimed, her voice thick with emotion. The well is alive. Yes. Samuel shouted, joy radiating from him. It's our faith. It's alive. Suddenly, Mr. Jenkins knelt by the water's edge, cupping his hands to drink. For the first time in years, his lips formed a smile of belief. It tastes fresh. I haven't had this in so long. In that instant, they were overcome by a rush of realization. Every droplet of water was not just a reminder of life's sustenance, but a symbol of the God's infinite grace, flowing through their connection. Martha. Mr. Jenkins turned to her, overwhelmed. What's happening? I feel alive. We're witnessing our first miracle. Martha cried, the tears streaming down her cheeks in gratitude. Your faith, our faith, is not just for ourselves, it's for everyone we encounter. The villagers erupted in applause, laughter echoing through the valley. They knew this was just the beginning. The well's restoration was not merely a physical miracle, it was the awakening of hope throughout the village, nourishing weary souls, but they also understood something profound. Miracles would not just spring forth from this well, they would flow freely whenever love and faith intertwined among them. Now, let us spread the news. John urged, his voice resonating with fervor. Let everyone know the well flows again. Let them know they can believe. With renewed purpose, they set off, arms linked and hearts aligned, ready to face whatever lay ahead. The community that had been tried by adversity was now a river of life, joy, and unyielding faith. As they shared the message of the well, the villagers began to transform, illuminating the path not only for themselves but for countless others. Each act of shared kindness rippled through Hopewell, creating a sacred tapestry of miracles woven through their hearts, and just as the dawn brought light to their world, so too did they bring hope and possibility to others, affirming what they now knew: every prayer, every act, and every heartbeat could manifest the miracles they sought. In the days that unfolded, relationships deepened, barriers broke down, and love blossomed in the hearts of those once lost. With Martha leading the charge, the collective story of their faith transformed ordinary moments into extraordinary miracles, and thus, Hopewell shone brightly under the morning sun, a village of believers, forever marked by their divine encounters. Their journey was only beginning, but they were no longer mere observers. They were conduits of miracles, tirelessly sowing hope and faith everywhere they stepped. As they embraced this calling, the unanswered whispers now united with purpose. Because together, they had learned something profound: miracles aren't just to be awaited, they are lived out every day, instilling joy in the hearts willing to believe. Now, dear friends, it's your turn to join us on this journey of faith and miracles. Subscribe immediately to the channel to not miss the next exclusive faith stories that will touch your heart. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and help others experience this transformational journey alongside us. Comment below to share your reactions and testimonies about the ending. Let's inspire one another, and don't wait even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this manifestation. Only true servants of God understand the essential importance of supporting this channel through these actions. Let's illuminate the world together.